Hi Aquarius, this is your astrology forecast for July 2015. Thank you for joining me. It's really nice to be with you. I'm going to have a really in-depth, detailed look at your astrology this month. I'm not going to draw a tarot card. I'm going to have a look at the planets, the luminaries, the aspects that they and the relationships they form with each other, and really give you a very detailed view of how that's going to impact you. Okay, so the first thing that occurs this month really, the thing that I see is a T-square in your chart, which represents a challenge and a solution to that challenge. And you've actually got two starting at the beginning of the month. And the first one is between your Chiron in Pisces in your second and your Ascendant in Virgo in the 8th. And that is solved by your midheaven in the 5th. So any issues around your finances or other people, the solution, or the feeling that you may have problems with other people, the solution is to inject a sense of fun and lightheartedness and joy into situation. So things aren't exactly as they seem at the beginning of July. Don't get sucked into thinking that things are really as serious as they are. By kind of making a laugh or a joke about things, you can really diffuse a situation which seems terribly difficult. The other thing is there's a push and pull between your sense of a spiritual connection and your desire to really achieve at work and to really progress in that sector. And the solution to that problem is to focus on work and to continue. You're not going to lose spirituality if you don't focus on it 24/7. It's okay to work, it's okay to apply yourself in a practical level. The opportunities are there and have arisen from spirit anyway. It's good and it's safe for you to achieve in your working life. Now, your Ascendant is in Virgo in the 8th, and that actually squares your midheaven, which is in Gemini in the 5th. There's going to be a push and pull between seeing things really seriously and wanting things to be quite fun. And I really get that you're the person who's going to bring humor and lightness into situations that may be lacking them. So you're going to be a breath of fresh air. So if you're funny, if you're irreverent, you know, make sure you draw on that, because you're going to be helping other people out really massively by lightening things up. And you're really going to help, especially Sagittarius and Capricorn this month, who are kind of really stuck in that kind of seriousness at the moment, okay? Mercury also sextiles Uranus from the 30th of June until the 4th of July. Mercury is in Gemini and it's really happy in that placement. It rules Gemini and it's in your 5th house of romance and relationships. So you're really going to be able to communicate very well, enthusiastically, with joy. People will be drawn to you, people will enjoy you. And Uranus is rebellion and energy, and that's in your 3rd house of communication. So you may have some really unique things to say, unique ideas, jokes, or I don't know, weird, unique opinions that are really going to make other people fall in love with you. So it's important for you to speak as much as you can, to put yourself out there. People will love what you have to say this month. It's going to be fantastic, especially around the 1st. And that Ascendant midheaven square is there for the whole month, 1st of July through the 30th. And this Mercury-Uranus connection is there for 5 days until the 4th of July. The full moon occurs on the 2nd, and this occurs in your 12th house of spirituality. So again, it represents a spiritual rebirth, and this is maybe why you're wanting to focus on work and spirituality, and there's a push and pull there. On the 2nd, during this full moon, you will have a spiritual awakening, experience, insight, but you'll feel extremely connected. So really make use of that, because that's where we get our most profound and valuable insights from. Saturn squares Venus from the 3rd of July until the 15th of August. And Saturn is in your 10th house of career, and it squares Venus in your 7th in Leo. So again, here there's a kind of push and pull between the structure and the stability of your working life, and the fire and enthusiasm you want to have in your personal life. Work is really cramping your style this month, Aquarius, and I don't think you really want to be working. I think you want to be going on dates, having fun, making jokes, going to parties, meditating when you're not at parties, and just having a good time. And work is really something that you approach with a kind of pinch of salt. This is what pays the rent, so you have to do it, but try and make it as fun for yourself as possible, because your mind is really elsewhere this July. The Sun trines Neptune from the 24th of June until the 9th of July, and this Neptune is in your second house in Pisces. You have some real ideas about how to make money, and that comes through your emotions. So don't really begrudge the fact that you have to work. You do really get some wonderful insights that you can use to actually improve your financial standing. New products, new ideas, applying those in your working life and taking action on them is really going to take you to the next level. So it is a good time to be working. You do have real insights that can help you progress. Mercury moved into Cancer on the 9th of July. And that's in your 6th house of work. You've got 4 things in your 6th house now. You've got Mercury, the midheaven, Mars, and the Sun all in Cancer in your 6th house. It really indicates that the way you feel about work is it's going to get quite heavy around this time of the month, I think. Because of that Cancer element, it's going to feel more emotionally than you like, and what you really want to do is you want to expand and you want to have more experiences that are light-hearted. So things have been going well until the 9th, I feel, but I think it's not only going to feel like it's cramping your style, but it's kind of draining you and dragging you down, and it's going to take you to an emotional level where you don't really want to be. So the way out of that is to focus on keeping things moving forward, having a game plan, learning new skills, and actually focusing on the work rather than the emotional personality side of things. Another T-square occurs between Saturn, the Moon, and Jupiter and Venus on the 11th of July, with Saturn opposing the Moon, and then Jupiter and Venus being the solution to this problem. The way to resolve this seriousness, again, is to inject some humor yourself, to be the person in charge. But that takes a lot of energy, and I don't want you to wear yourself out. It's not your job to be the class clown, to bring everyone else up. It's your job to have a good time as well. So if you can take some time off in July and just spend it doing the things that you love without getting into all this heavy whatever, then try and do that, because you're not a martyr. You don't need to kind of crucify yourself here with other people not being happy, and it's not up to you to solve everyone else's problems, especially around this time. And that's what it feels like to me, that work feels very, very heavy, and that you're not engaging with that very much. Mars has been in conjunction with the Sun since June, and it ends on the 12th of July. So that kind of eases up now, that emotional intensity eases up. And also the opposition between Pluto and the Sun ends on the 14th of July. That really ends that kind of push and pull between spirituality and having to work and not being particularly happy about it. So I think as the middle of July hits, things start to ease off for you a little bit and you feel more comfortable at work. If you can, try and take the beginning of the month off, or the first week or the second. Venus conjuncts Jupiter from the 17th of June through until the 13th of August. And these two are a really good pairing, because Jupiter is the planet of good luck and good fortune. Venus is the goddess of love, and that really makes you sparkle and shine for this conjunction. And that's why other people come to you they're attracted to you. You're very kind of glamorous, you have that sparkle of enthusiasm of life, and just make sure that people don't take advantage of that and try and pull you down, but surround yourself with people who are also interested in having a good time and who are positive, and then you can have a really wonderful time. Go to Ibiza at the beginning of July. Go have fun. That'd be great. New moon occurs on the 16th, and the new moon is a period of planting new seeds. And what I feel you're going to be looking at during this new moon period is how you can make your working life more structured, and your career, a career that is more nurturing you to emotionally, and that allows you more freedom. So I think that you have felt stifled, but what about creating a career that actually allows you the freedom to do the things you want? Have a think about that and plant those seeds of intention that if you're in a job that is, for instance, very rigid, 9 to 5, that possibly in a year or in 5 years from now, you see yourself in a job where you can either set your own hours or you can work flexibly, but there is something going on here that is making you feel restricted and stifled, and it's important to address those things when they're there. I think you're going to be doing that anyway, because you will be feeling it. Uranus squares Mars from the 16th of July through to the 2nd of August. And again, that sparkle, that humor comes out, and even to the extent now where you get a little bit impatient and intolerant of other people who are just struggling. And I think you might even feel the tendency to make fun of people who aren't quite where you are. So again, just kind of watch that. Uranus is unpredictable, it's rebellious, and it's in your communication sector, so you might be a little bit unpredictable about what you say. And Mars is in Cancer in your 6th, and Mars is quite uncomfortable in Cancer. It's in a water sign, it doesn't feel particularly active, and it feels like it's just sloshing around. And in your working sector, if there is a feeling of stagnancy or someone not pulling their weight, or people are just kind of treading water, you may say something snarky, you may get sarcastic, you may say something to deliberately wound someone, and that obviously doesn't help. So it's about finding more constructive ways of getting things to move forward. Venus goes into Virgo on the 19th of July, and that happens in your 8th house of other people. So if anything, you get even more dry now, and you become discerning about what it is you like and what it is you don't like. I think you can become a little bit, again, that harshness kind of elevates. If someone just is, your patience is kind of running out, and you're not going to tolerate things that really you value as just inappropriate, or you class as unproductive. So Venus isn't comfortable in Virgo. Virgo is very much focused on details, and when the goddess of love, who likes to have fun, is forced into Virgo, it's kind of like, this isn't fun. You know, I feel restricted. And that's a theme for you this month, that work isn't fun, that other people's issues and problems sometimes bring you down. And again, the way out of that is to show people, literally, if you have to be around people this whole month, then show people how to lighten things up, how to have a better time. And if you do have the opportunity to kind of just do things that you enjoy, then please do that during July. It's a great time for it. Another T-square occurs on the 19th, and that has a similar theme. That rather than make sarcastic or challenging comments to other people, the way to create harmony is to be considerate of other people's feelings. That's especially in the last week of July, from the 19th to the 29th. Mercury goes into Leo on the 24th, and that's in your 7th house of relationships. Jupiter is also in there. So this really now, and I think what's happened in the past of this month, this really puts you into a position where people look to you to take leadership, and where people really respect you. So I think, looking at this like a narrative, I think you've done a really good job in July with people, especially that you work with, and that people really look to you for leadership. So this is a great time to apply for a promotion, to say, you know, I've done this, this is how people feel about me, because you are a leader here in this situation, and to take ownership of that and say, people look to me for guidance. A grand trine occurs in water on the 25th of July, and that happens between your Chiron in Pisces in the 2nd, your midheaven in Cancer in the 6th, and your moon in Scorpio in the 10th. today, the 25th of July, is a wonderful day for you to transform your working life. So apply for a new position or apply for a promotion. There's a real possibility and a really good chance, and it's very likely, that by taking action, you can make your job, your working life, something you feel less stifled by and more emotionally kind of nurtured by. So you can shake this up. So in fact, I told you to look at on the 16th of July, the new moon, to set intentions to change your job in future. But I think it's not even going to take a year or 5 years. It's going to literally take a week or two. If you get into that mindset and say, I'm not happy with this, I want something else, I really see that in July you can change your job like that. Depends on how much you dislike it. But what the chart is saying here is that you can walk out of one job and into another without any issues, which is really quite startling considering the economy that we live in. So that's what the chart is saying for you, Aquarius, so that's really positive news. Virgo goes retrograde on the 25th, and that happens in your 8th house. And this is a time when you reassess, you reevaluate what it is you care about, what it is you love, and it's not a time to, especially with you and other people, to really take any actions around your thoughts, okay? Because Venus in Virgo, I've already mentioned, is quite critical. But Venus in Virgo in retrograde is even more critical. So I don't think you're going to be as loving as you usually are. I think as the month kind of progresses, the humor kind of gets more biting, and you have to actively kind of keep an eye on that, not to kind of get mean about things, because it's almost like you become really clear on what you find acceptable and what you don't. And it's almost like you feel it's your job to educate people on how to behave. And it really isn't, because if you took on that job, then you'd have 8 or 7 billion people to educate, and it's not something that's... It's not your job to dictate how other people behave, even though you may feel like you're right, or even though you may feel like you know what's acceptable and what isn't. It's not your job to do that. So don't do that to yourself, and just kind of try and, again, focus on the productivity and focus on the value that you can add to your work and to the lives of others, rather than focusing on their flaws and their faults and how those are impacting you on a personal level. And finally, the month finishes with a full moon on the 31st of July. And there has been a full moon already this month. On the 2nd of July, there was a full moon in Capricorn. And now there's another one. This one is in Aquarius. Now, this happens very rarely, and it's called a blue moon when this happens, because, and that's where that phrase comes from, once in a blue moon, because it happens very infrequently. And the next time this is going to happen with 2 full moons in 1 month is on the 31st of January 2018. So still a ways off. Now, the full moon in a chart is a period of blossoming, of things coming to fruition. And the one on the 2nd of July was in Capricorn for you in your 12th house of spirituality. And it was about a spiritual awakening and kind of information coming through. So that's the first one. This one is going to be in Aquarius in your 1st house, and that's understanding something about yourself. And we've talked a lot about you versus other people, or you in conjunction with other people, and how that impacts you. And this second realization is really a kind of understanding of what your role is with other people, what you have to offer, what you've got to teach, and how you can work with people in a positive way. But when you have 2 moons in a month anyway, regardless of what each one means, it makes that month a very productive and fruitful time. And for you, you can be very productive in the areas that I've mentioned. So creating real value at work if you take time off, you can really be productive at having fun and enjoying yourself. But it's a time of being really full on. So don't expect things to be kind of boring, flat. There's going to be a lot going on. If you're thinking of kind of coasting through the month or something, that's not going to happen. You've got to show up fully, and there's going to be a lot of energy floating around, and there's going to be a lot of energy from other people floating around. So I would recommend you to be on guard and to do like a daily loving meditation to keep your heart and spirit open, and not to get disappointed or frustrated with other people's heaviness or emotionality or anything like that, and just to keep yourself in the frame of mind that you want to be. Okay, so I hope you find that useful. If you've got any questions for me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. And if you'd like a reading with me, you can email me. The address is readings@gregoryscott.co.uk. And please remember to subscribe to the channel.